Let's cover some essential information you need to have when researching accessibility service providers for a website accessibility audit, starting with the cost of the audit. The range of an audit typically is $3,500 on the very low end and then $15,000 on the higher end. And if we're at $3,500 and you get a quote for less, then you just have to assess the situation and determine whether you feel confident about the quality of audit you're going to be receiving, which leads to my next point. We want to make sure that the audit is manual. Audits are always manual. That is implicit in the word audit. When we are getting back an audit, it is manually conducted. But some vendors, some companies are saying that you can combine an audit with automation. So they'll have the scan results for accessibility issues, and then they will supposedly have manual results that are combined with those. You never use automation for the final results. Also, any claims of AI are a real red flag. I'm not discounting the abilities of artificial intelligence, but right now they are not there yet for accessibility audits. When you go to a provider, you want a good old-fashioned manually conducted accessibility audit. No automation, no software. Also, an audit is not user testing. So if the person who is selling you the audit is conflating the terms user testing and audit, that to me is concerning. And the reason it's concerning is because these are two different services. So I already know that they have a sloppiness to them. I already know that they're not completely detailed. And I only want to deal with service providers who are accurate and pay attention to details. And if someone doesn't know the difference, if they're conflating the two terms, then that to me is very concerning. Also, we need to plan for after we get the audit. So many clients get the audit and then they don't know what to do, or they think they've done more than they have. All an audit does is tell you the accessibility issues that reside on your website. That's it. You haven't actually done anything to remediate or fix those issues. Once you get the audit, you need to be able to take action on the audit, and you need to decide how you're going to go about that. One important note is that the audit is not going to be prioritized to prevent litigation. This is very important because so many people are now investing in website accessibility because of compliance reasons. They don't want to get sued again. So it's important to know that even if you get back this audit, you still have to be organized in how you approach these accessibility issues, because the way you approach the audit is very much going to affect your exposure to litigation. You also need to consider the complexity of your website. This is going to go into the audit cost. The same with the scope or the number of pages. So let's just say your website is fairly complex, and I'm just drawing a rectangle on the board, and we've got these different components and there's so much interactivity going on. And then we've got, let's say, 15 pages in scope. That's going to directly affect the price on your audit quote. And the same goes for the number of accessibility issues. Let's say you have literally dozens of accessibility issues on multiple pages of your website. It takes time to get through those issues. If you have several accessibility issues, then it's going to take a while to get through that audit. And so that's going to impact the cost of the audit. And then the other thing I have here is you want to make sure that you are getting an audit for WCAG version 2.1 conformance level AA. There's not really any downside to getting a 2.1 audit versus a 2.0 audit. Think of 2.0 as the classic standard. Think of 2.1 as the more updated standard. Now, the current version is 2.2. And so if you have 2.2 rolled in, that's no problem. But just know that with these different versions, there are only additional success criteria that are added to them. It's not like a completely different set of technical standards. But if you're at 2.1 conformance level AA, you're in a good place. So these are just some of the important considerations when it comes to procuring an audit. If you go to accessible.org, you will find information about the ADA compliance program. Basically, this program includes an audit, and it also includes remediation of your code. But today we've covered some important points about website accessibility audits. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I will include links and more information in the description.